Hey there, listeners. Welcome to the Danny and Megan Show, broadcasting straight from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. I'm your host, Danny Lowe, and if you're ready for a deep dive into the most fascinating topics out there, then you've come to the right place. Every week, we bring you the best of what's happening around the world, from trending stories to the latest in entertainment and everything in between. We're here to give you the scoop on the stuff that's worth your time. Whether you're passionate about books, obsessed with the latest must-see films, or trying to keep up with breaking news that's changing the game, you'll find it all right here with us. And of course, I'm not flying solo. Though I'm holding down the fort right now, my amazing co-host Megan Stewart will be joining me soon. Together, we make sure every episode is packed with insight, fun, and a little bit of that LA sunshine. Megan's got her finger on the pulse when it comes to books and cinema, and trust me, you won't want to miss her take on the latest trends. So, what can you expect from the Danny and Megan Show? Well, each week we explore something new and different. Some days we're talking about a hot new novel that's got everyone buzzing, diving deep into what makes it a must-read. Other times, we're breaking down a blockbuster movie, whether it's dominating the box office or pushing the boundaries of storytelling. And when the news cycle is moving fast, we'll be here to help you make sense of it all, giving you the insights and analysis you need to stay informed. But that's not all. We love keeping things fresh. So you'll also hear about unique stories and trends that might not always make the headlines, but are definitely worth your attention. We're talking about those hidden gems in the world of entertainment and culture that you might not have discovered yet, but absolutely need to know about. We'll also be sharing our top recommendations, whether it's a new series to binge watch, a page turner you won't be able to put down, or a fascinating news story that's going to spark conversation. Megan and I have a passion for all things creative, and we want to make sure you never miss out on something great. So, no matter where you are, on your commute, working from home, or just relaxing, the Danny and Megan Show is here to bring you the latest and greatest in books, cinema, and global news. We want to be your go-to source for all things trending, the stuff that gets you talking, thinking, and excited about what's coming next. All right, that's enough from me for now. Let's get this show on the road. Sit back, relax, and get ready to explore what's happening around the world, one topic at a time. This is the Danny and Megan Show. And trust me, you won't want to miss a thing.
Okay, so get ready for a deep dive into a story that you probably haven't heard before, and one that's really captivating.
Yeah.
So imagine like the late 19th, early 20th century.
Okay.
Whispers of Hope are like, traveling across the Atlantic, and they're drawing young Polish Jewish women
Wow.
to Rio de Janeiro,
To Rio.
which is like a bustling city at the time.
Yeah.
And it's a story of resilience
Okay.
and like finding strength in unexpected places.
Right.
And this is what's brought to life in The Lost Daughters of Zion in the Shadows of Rio de Janeiro,
Wow.
which is a new novel by Brazilian Jewish author and historian Frederico Goldstein.
What's really remarkable about this is that Goldstein doesn't just give us a dry historical account.
Right.
He really delves into the heart of this forgotten narrative.
Okay.
And he does that by interweaving his family history and extensive research
Wow.
with just compelling storytelling. He
Yeah.
really makes you feel the desperation that led these women to leave everything behind and board ships bound for a land
Right.
that was brimming with both promise and peril.
It's incredible to think about like those voyages
Right.
and that mix of hope and uncertainty
Yeah.
that these women must have felt.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned peril.
Mm-hmm.
The novel doesn't shy away from the harsh realities awaiting them, does it?
Not at all.
No.
In fact, Goldstein masterfully juxtaposes the alluring image of Rio de Janeiro at the time,
Right.
this vibrant cosmopolitan city on the rise,
Okay.
with the much darker reality lurking beneath the surface.
Right.
He talks about how these women, many of them fleeing poverty and persecution in Europe, were lured to Brazil with promises of a better life,
Yeah.
only to find themselves trapped in a system designed to exploit their vulnerability.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the societal forces at play during that time period
Sure.
that made these women so susceptible to exploitation?
So imagine this. Mass migration. A wave of people from all corners of the world, particularly Europe, seeking a new life in places like Brazil.
Right.
Now picture those who are most vulnerable within that wave.
Okay.
Women traveling alone, often with limited resources,
Right.
and facing language barriers in a foreign land.
Yeah.
They were easy targets for those looking to profit from their desperation.
It's hard to imagine arriving in a brand new country with so little,
Right.
so vulnerable.
Yeah.
How does Goldstein illustrate this in the novel?
So he introduces us to Leah and Miriam,
Okay.
two young Polish Jewish women whose intertwined journeys embody the experiences of countless others.
Right.
Through their eyes, we witness the harsh realities of Rio's underbelly.
Wow.
Take, for instance, the way Goldstein describes their arrival.
Okay.
They're met not with open arms, but with the leering gazes of men
Right.
who see them only as commodities,
Oh, wow.
as opportunities for profit.
Wow.
He writes, the air thick with the scent of salt and something unsettling clung to them like a shroud.
Wow.
Right away, you feel the shift from hope to a creeping sense of dread
Right.
of their dreams slipping away.
That's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
The scent of salt and something unsettling,
Mm-hmm.
it immediately sets the tone,
It does.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're not just reading a history book.
Right.
We're thrust into the heart of their experience.
Exactly.
Can you tell us more about Leah and Miriam?
Sure.
What were their hopes and dreams when they first embarked on this journey?
Yeah. Like so many others, making that journey, Leah and Miriam yearn for a life free from the stifling poverty
Right.
and growing anti-Semitism they faced back in Poland.
Right.
They'd heard tales of a land where opportunity awaited,
Mm-hmm.
where they could build a new life, maybe even find love and start families.
Yeah.
Goldstein portrays their initial optimism so vividly.
Okay.
Their shared dreams woven into their conversations as they crossed the ocean.
It makes the reality they encounter even more jarring than knowing their hopes, their dreams.
Right.
Makes their exploitation that much more impactful for the reader, I imagine.
Exactly. Goldstein doesn't let us forget that these women were not simply victims.
Right.
They were complex individuals with aspirations, fears,
Mm-hmm.
and deep inner strength.
Okay.
He takes us beyond the headlines of history
Yeah.
and reveals the human stories behind them.
And this historical backdrop really makes the stories of Leah and Miriam even more powerful, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And their story isn't just about hardship.
Right.
It's about the power of the human spirit to endure, to find hope in unexpected places.
The synopsis mentioned resilience and community.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about how that plays out in their lives?
Even in the darkest moments when they're facing unimaginable exploitation,
Yeah.
Leah and Miriam find solace and strength in their shared heritage.
Mm.
The novel beautifully portrays their connection to their Jewish faith and traditions
Okay.
as a lifeline,
Right.
a way to hold on to their identity amidst unimaginable hardship.
You mentioned they found solace in their shared heritage.
Yeah.
Can you share an example from the book that really illustrates this for the listener?
There's a particularly moving scene where Leah and Miriam, along with a few other women, gather in secret on a Friday night
Okay.
to light Shabbat candles.
Okay.
Surrounded by the harsh realities of their situation, they find a moment of peace, of connection to something larger than themselves.
Oh.
Goldstein writes, as the flames flickered, casting dancing shadows on the worn walls, they sang the ancient prayers, their voices hushed, yet resolute, a symphony of defiance against the darkness that threatened to engulf them.
Wow. A symphony of defiance against the darkness.
Right.
That sends chills down my spine.
Yeah.
Speaks to a strength that transcends their circumstances.
Precisely that scene and others like it throughout the novel highlight how these women refuse to be defined solely by their suffering. They found strength in their traditions, in their shared faith, and in the bonds of community they formed with each other. It's a powerful testament to the human capacity for resilience.
Their story is a stark reminder of the power of community,
Yes.
especially for those facing extreme hardship.
Mm-hmm.
They supported each other, shared their traditions, and ultimately found strength in their shared identity as Jewish women.
Right.
This feels like a good moment to shift gears slightly
Okay.
and talk about the author himself.
Okay.
What drives someone to unearth a story like this?
Yeah.
What more can you tell us about Federico Goldstein?
Sure.
It feels like more than just writing a book, you know?
Yeah.
It feels personal,
Yeah.
like he's driven by something deeper.
You're right to pick up on that.
Yeah.
Goldstein's dedication to sharing this story stems from a deeply personal connection.
Okay.
The novel is dedicated to his grandmother, Sarah, who, like Leah and Miriam, immigrated to Brazil from Poland during this era.
Wow.
He said in interviews that her strength and resilience in the face of unimaginable challenges always fascinated him.
It's like he's honoring her memory by giving a voice to those who were silenced,
Yeah.
those whose stories were lost to the shadows.
Precisely. And in doing so, he's challenging all of us to think differently about history,
Right.
to look beyond the surface and seek out the narratives of those who have been marginalized and forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of something else Goldstein said in an interview.
Okay.
History is not just about kings and queens, he said.
Right.
It's about the whispers of ordinary people living extraordinary lives.
The whispers of ordinary people living extraordinary lives.
Mhm.
That's beautifully put.
Yeah.
And it perfectly encapsulates what makes this novel and this period of history so compelling.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it forces us to ask ourselves,
Yeah.
whose stories haven't we heard?
Right.
Whose voices are still waiting to be amplified?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
So as we delve deeper into Leah and Miriam's story through Goldstein's work,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think is the most important thing for us to take away as readers, as listeners, as people living in the world today?
For me, it's the importance of empathy and understanding.
Okay.
By stepping into the shoes of these women, by bearing witness to their resilience and their struggles,
Right.
we gain a deeper understanding of the human experience in all its complexities. We
Right.
start to recognize the threads of shared humanity that connect us across cultures, across generations, across time itself.
It's a reminder that history is not just a collection of dates and events.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tapestry woven from individual lives, each one filled with dreams, disappointments, moments of incredible courage and enduring hope.
Wow.
Federico Goldstein, through his meticulous research and powerful storytelling, urges us to listen to those whispers of the past.
Yeah.
He reminds us that the stories of Leah and Miriam and countless others like them deserve to be heard, remembered, and honored.
Right.
And in doing so, we enrich our understanding of the world we live in today.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for tuning in to the Danny and Megan Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found our discussions insightful and entertaining. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share our content with your friends. Don't forget to check the links in the description for more resources related to this episode. We're back every day with fresh topics, exciting recommendations, and the latest trends in books, cinema, and news. Stay tuned for more engaging content, and we can't wait to share our next adventure with you. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.